Well, thank you for tuning in to another episode of A Business Minute. I'm your host, Sir, and today I'm joined with a husband and wife duo, a family organizer group here. Their names are Daniel and Danielle Pleasure. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing pretty good. How are you?
I can't complain. All right. So, Danielle, if you could you tell us what it is that you guys do?
Yeah, first of all, it's Danny and Danielle, and we're community organizers, and we're gospel rap and singing group as well.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and we go into the communities, we go into the schools, and we speak to young people about making the right decisions. First of all, I'm going to let my wife tell you about the nonprofit organization that we have.
Okay.
Okay, the nonprofit is called Sparkle Productions Incorporated, and it began with Push for Peace. Originally, that was our first project. It started in 2013, and we just wanted to go into the community and be a light in the community. That's where the sparkle comes from, and just let everybody know that there's still hope. Let everybody know that there's power in numbers of coming together a lot of times. So, well, first of all, what we focus on by Push for Peace is we focus on promoting peace in our community through faith, unity, and love. So we work to decrease violence. So whether it's domestic violence, gun violence, youth violent crimes, we just want to go in the community and help people know that, you know, we're greater. Greater is He that is within us than he that is in the world. Meaning that a lot of times people are filled with fear because they're watching the news and they feel like, what can I do? There's nothing I can do. Some people feel like, oh, it's the end times. You know, this is going to happen. They just feel helpless. But God gave us another vision, and we believe that we're His hands and feet, and that we're not supposed to just be sitting idly by. And everybody can contribute by coming together and building together and united together. We can do more by showing the light and shedding light on the situation, and just declaring that, you know, we want acceptance in our community. We want better in our community. There can be better. And thinking of ways to make it better by acting, you know, showing action, showing that love. Yeah. That's where going into the schools comes in, because we want to show the youth that they are loved. We want to show them that there are other possibilities, there are other choices that they can make, you know, other than going out and grabbing a gun and shooting somebody or robbing somebody because there's something they want. You know, there's more to life. So all of that plays into Sparkle Productions. We work with families. We work to strengthen family foundations because we believe that that's a part of it. A lot of times if you don't have both parents in the home, sometimes children struggle. And even when you do have both parents, sometimes children struggle for different reasons. Maybe they see mom hitting dad or dad hitting mom, or whatever the case may be. So we want to strengthen those relationships, strengthen the relationships between the parents, and strengthen the relationships between children and parents. You know, so that's where we work with families to decrease domestic violence in that way, and just violence in general.
All right. Well, that's always a blessing to get back to the community and show there are other ways, and also showing the consequences of decisions is often important nowadays. So I really appreciate that. And so that leads me to my next question. How long have you guys been active in the community?
We've been active in the community with our nonprofit status for about 4 years now. No,
okay.
As a matter of fact, it's about 6 years.
We started Push for Peace in 2013. Before that, I think as far back as 2011, we were working with other nonprofits like the Wings of Life, Penelope House, different organizations. There's a ministry that goes to the Metro Jail. We were working with different organizations before that through our music ministry. Yeah. And in 2013 is when we branched off to start our own project. And then in 2015, officially 501c3.
Yeah, let me say that when I talk about when we talk about the Push for Peace, it's an actual event that we hold, and it's in downtown Mobile in Cathedral Square. And as a matter of fact, it's going to be October 26th this year, 2018. So it's a free event where we invite the whole community to come out, the mayor, the police chief, preachers and pastors and singing groups, and we got a few judges this year, as a matter of fact. We got rappers and singers and dancers. Basically, we're trying to get everybody who has a voice in the community to come out and speak to the community and encourage people. And maybe there's somebody out there who might be prone to make a bad decision, and hopefully, if we can catch one or two or change the mindset of a group of people, that's what we really aim to do. And that's what the Push for Peace event is really all about.
Okay.
Yeah. And if I could add, the Push for Peace it is an event, but it's also an initiative, which means that it's more than an event. We host the event on one day, but when we say Push for Peace, it's a hope that everybody in the community will push for peace. Find your way to push for peace. Find what you can do, in your neighborhood, in your church, in your school, in your home. How can you push for peace and just build towards making your community better?
All right. It sounds like you guys are definitely talking about creating that spark to inspire people. And that really leads me to my next question. What inspired you guys to start this organization?
Well, as she said before, that sparked from our music, our music ministry of Divine Purpose. And as she said before, going with other nonprofits out into the community and seeing how they had an effect, sparked interest in us to go out and do something of our own. And so it's just blossomed from there. I know it's a lot of work that goes into it, but we enjoy helping people out and just trying to make a difference. So that's the main thing, just creating that spark and just want to change and help people change and help our community change for the better.
Yeah, and more specifically, back in 2012, before that, there was a shooting in a movie theater in Aurora, Colorado.
Yeah.
And I remember watching the news, and I don't know how many nights God was just waking me up 3 a.m. I didn't know he was doing something similar to him 2 weeks later. And so he was working in his spirit, working in my spirit at the same time. But basically, I was asking God, because every time that something like that would happen, they would have these forums and these big vigils, and your police chief would come, the mayor would come, everybody would come and give their speech and say what they think the problem is and what needs to happen, or we need to change the gun laws, or it's mental health. And I just remember asking God, what is it? What is it? How, what's the solution? Because they don't know, because we're going through the same motion over and over again. So the people on the news, they don't know what the issue is. That's part of the reason why Push for Peace looks like it does, and we do invite the city officials out, but we also want to invite the citizens out and the parents, and also the youth, the people that are struggling. We want them to be a part of it too. But with that, when I was asking God, what is it, he was showing me scriptures, and that's where the mission comes from, to promote peace through faith. He says when I say faith, people believing, because a lot of people don't believe that there is hope. A lot of people are just living in fear. They watch the news and they feel like it's nothing I can do. And that's part of, that's a big part of it. And then the unity, it can't be, that's your neighborhood, this is my neighborhood. If that's, this is how it is, black, white, young, old. It's going to take all of us. And that goes back to, it takes a village, the unity. We have to come together.
Be unified.
And if you look at the news, like there used to be a time when people would say, oh, that had to be a black person You know, we have stereotypes of what type of crime certain people do, but it's not like that anymore. You know, it's everywhere. And everybody has a part, and everybody needs to get involved. And then the love, you know, it's self-explanatory. You have to have love. You know, the love is what's going to drive you to go the extra mile to do what it takes to make a difference. You know, and love has the power to change things. So that's the answer that God gave us. You know, even though He gave it to us separately, and then He gave it to us together. And so that's the backbone of how Push for Peace came to be and how we started our own organization.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a wonderful start to have, starting through Christ. That's always a positive. So,
Right.
and that brings me to my next question. You did mention an issue that is ongoing, is unification. Were there any other obstacles along the way that you guys did encounter?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, always trying to get people to work together is a job. You know, coordinating people to come together at certain times is, of course, a job. So, I mean, that's the biggest obstacle, is just being diligent and coordinating and talking to people and getting the word out. You know, that I would say that's the biggest obstacle, is self-discipline to, you know, get the word out, to communicate and to try to unify people. So, in my eyes, that's one of the biggest obstacles. So, just, wouldn't you say?
It's very hard, in which when we got into it, I don't know if we were naive, you know, we just didn't know. We thought because we felt a certain way and we loved everybody and we were like, yeah, let's do, you know, if somebody came to us and said, let's do this and it's positive, we were just willing to do it. But that was one of the hardest things to realize, even in the church, even when you're talking about trying to get people to help you from a spiritual mindset, people were not willing to unite, and sometimes it was for the most pettiest, ridiculous reasons. And, you know, that was one of the hardest things to really realize, and we had to learn that sometimes you just have to go on, you know, in spite of or without people, and don't let those disappointments deter us from doing, you know, what we were called to do, or what,
Right.
you know, completing the vision that we were given. So,
Yeah, that was whether people wanted to work with us or not, or whether people wanted to work with other organizations or other churches or not. You know, we had to continue to see the vision that God placed in us and continue to push for that. Because, I mean, even in the city that we stay in, it's a lot of, you know, cliques and things like that. But, you know, we try to break those type of affiliations. You know, we're not just trying to, you know, be friends with a certain group of people and show other group of people that, you know, they don't matter that much, because it ain't like about that. It's all about unity and trying to work together.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're going to come up as a city, if we're going to come up as a community, we're going to have to unify and work together, man, and put all those petty differences to the side.
yeah, because if you say you don't want to help, or you don't want to work together, you don't want to help somebody because you don't like this particular person, you know, right there, that shows the flaw in you, because, you know, you're not being who you say you are. You're not being alike, you know, or who you should be, you know. So that can't be the reason to not, you know, unite with somebody.
You definitely have to put your pride aside and whatever issues you have, especially in situations like this where this is about survival. You know,
Right,
so
exactly.
we definitely have to come to a point where disagreements will have to be set aside and the bigger picture has to be seen. And I agree with you. That is very tough to do. That is a task in itself. So I commend you guys for enduring that and still pushing forward, because that can ostracize you. I hate to say it that way, but it definitely can. Certain people will cease to the wayside once they see you talking or dealing with other people, and it's a sad truth. But what I will commend you on is setting the example. That is exactly what we need that conversation needs to be had so a solution to that problem can be addressed down the line. So I 100% am behind you guys with that. That brings me to another question, which is a little bit of a tough one with the people I interview. With you guys being organizers and also being parents as well and being married, how do you guys manage to balance work life and personal life?
Well, one day at a time. One situation at a time. I think for me, as a father and as a husband, I don't bring my work home.
Mm-hmm.
Another big thing is to make time for the family. It's times where, we don't need to focus on what's happening outside of our family circle, but focus on what's happening with our children. We talk to our children every day. We talk to each other every day. We try to spend as much time as we can together. On a daily basis, we eat dinner every night together. We see each other every morning and we talk. So the biggest way that we balance family life and community life and music life is by spending time together. And as a matter of fact, the children are here with us now.
Mm-hmm.
As we go in this interview, one of them she's sleepyhead, man. So she's knocked out right now. So she gets comfortable and it gets quiet enough, she's out. And my son, he can stay up late at night, and he's up right now. He's reading a little book. But we just try to stick together as a family, man. They do music as well, so we're raising them up to rap and to sing. And so what we do it together. When we do our community events, we bring them with us. We get them involved. So when you see us, you see our kids with us.
Yeah. And sometimes that's because we don't have babysitters.
Yeah.
But it works out. We bring them with us. And surprisingly, they don't really want to go anywhere. They get upset when they can't go. Like when we were involved, when they couldn't go, they didn't like it much because they want to be wherever we are. They're so used to us being together that they just want to be with us all the time, which is a blessing.
Yes,
in
it is.
itself. It's hard, sometimes, but it's a blessing. And Push for Peace this year, we usually do it in the summer, and we didn't do it in the summer this year. We postponed it for a little while.
Usually in June.
And they were one of the biggest supporters and asking, when are we going to do it? Why didn't we do it this summer?
They look forward to it.
They look forward to it, and that's all they know is Push for Peace. We've been doing Push for Peace since they were 18 months, maybe.
Right.
Yeah,
So we bring them with us, man. That's how we balance. They're with us. We're with them. We spend a lot of time together as a family.
Yeah.
All right. That's, like you said, that is a blessing. You got to bring them up the way they should go. So, hey, kudos.
And when it's time to, as parents, and even as husband and wife, sometimes you can get distracted and with so much going on outside the house. And even though we want to do good work all the time, but, you just kind of know, we know each other, so we know when it's time to pull it back in.
Uh-huh.
And maybe for a little while, we don't do anything. Like this past year, we kind of slowed down a little while just to take, some time back and just spend with us and have that time to be together. So,
absolutely.
Just by ear, and if that's what we need to do, that's what we need to do. That's what's first. Family first.
All right. Prioritization. I heard that. Nothing wrong with that at all. All right.
Yes, sir. Priority.
Yes, sir. So, and that brings me to a little bit more of a specific question. Over the last few years, has there been any experience that you guys both find to be the most memorable of all?
As far as Push for Peace is concerned, the Push for Peace event, having our kids with us there every year, and just to see it grow and blossom into what it's become. As a music group, as Divine Purpose, just to see it grow in each other, as artists. We started performing in backyards at barbecues, And so our music, wasn't as quality as it is now. But over a period of time, we've grown, we learned, and we continue to grow. And when we try to continue to learn about what makes us better and what makes us who we are, and we're trying to find our brand and establish our brand and really believe in ourselves. That's really been a big thing, that our confidence has grown substantially. So just the memorable parts about that would be just doing it together and growing and learning. For me, that's what the biggest memory of it all is.
I would say my most memorable time thinking of just ministry altogether, and I guess our music is a ministry, so it kind of ties in with the nonprofit. I always keep in my mind the first year when we did it. I think we had like a month to plan. Really, I was always the skeptical one, so I always felt like God gave us the vision. Like I said, He showed him, He showed me, but I was kind of skeptical where I was trying to find, well, I need to talk to this person and see if they'll help me, or I'm going to tell this person about it and see what they say, where he just jumped out there. He called the mayor's office, and he was gone like a rocket. And he called the park, recreation, got the date set. And so anyway, when that day came, we just trusted God. It just came together, and to see how it came together, it was small. I remember we had a few coolers, maybe 2 coolers, and I was rolling the cooler around, passing out water. And that's all we had. I mean, we had a basic stage. The sound went out, but it was...
We had improv.
It was impactful. And Mayor Sam Jones came, and that was like, wow, somebody, and everybody was just impressed from there forth. But we all came together and prayed, and it was just such a good time. Everybody brought their lawn chairs, and we had about 50 people. And when I think about that into now, where it's easily probably 300 plus people, so many more vendors and people come out and sponsors, and like I said, back then we just put our money in and we just did it. But now we have an official nonprofit, just the growth. But always in my mind, I remember that first time, and it just keeps us, keeps us humble and keeps us grounded and dedicated.
There's nothing like stepping out on faith and seeing that faith rewarded. And I commend you guys for just following your heart, and and that's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's always inspiring to me. All right, no problem. And so that leads me. Oh no, by all means.
I was going to say one more thing, and also touching on what you said, it also just reminds me of God's faithfulness, because when it first happened, we didn't know how everything, like I said, we didn't know how everything was going to work out, but we just trusted God and followed through, little things that the Holy Spirit was showing us, telling us to do, and it just brings to mind His faithfulness, because we had no idea, even though we were walking in it and we knew, we had the heart to do it. Still, you have that little doubt in your mind because you're not sure, God, what are you doing? But now when we look back, you just see God's faithfulness, and, His vision is so much bigger than ours and what He had in mind.
I'm often tried describing walking on faith as like riding a bike, or when you first learn to ride a bike, you're nervous because you've never done it before. But your parent is there to assure you that you're okay, I got you. And that's what we have to remember when God inspires you, especially if He's the one that placed the vision in your heart, He's not going to abandon you. And that's something that we have to remember. And as humans, we're not perfect. We're going to feel doubt. That's just us being human. But you still have to have the strength and you have to be secure in your faith to still take that step. So, like I said, kudos to you guys. Kudos. So,
thank you so much. That's totally right.
Yes, sir.
That's good. Good analogy.
All right. So that leads me to my next question. Because with every up, there's a down. You know, and with every down, there's a lesson to be learned. So I wanted to ask, at any point in time, did you guys feel that things wouldn't work out? And if so, who or what changed your mind?
Every year almost.
I feel like that today. Just a few minutes before the interview. Man, when anytime you gotta raise funds to do something,
Mm-hmm.
and the vision that you see, it's always challenging, man. And then, sometimes you might get no's, or you might, have to wait till certain people get in the office at a certain time, and when they say they're gonna call you back, they don't call you back, and you wonder how it's gonna work. But then it's always inspiration, man. Some good news will come, or somebody will say, hey, man, I'm with you on this. We can do this and this. But, it's human to feel like, something's not going to be successful. But when you put your time and your effort into planning and to calling people and just be committed to whatever the outcome is, that's a success within itself. So anything that comes from your hard work of planning and put it together and to see it all come together, that's really what true success to me is all about, man. Making a plan, following through with the plan until the end, no matter what the outcome is. For me, that's true success.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
What you say about that, baby?
I agree with what you
Hey.
But I feel like
he was asking if there's ever a time, but I said like every year. Last year, for example, and it's always like this. Last year, after Push for Peace in November, we decided to do a relationship conference as part of our Family Matters and Relationship Matters portion of our nonprofit. Well, we set out to do a good thing. We wanted to build, strengthen families, strengthen relationships,
marriages,
strengthen marriages, help those that were single that, were looking and just feeling like maybe, they were missing something or not satisfied, with life because they didn't have a mate. We just wanted to build those relationships, starting with the first and most important relationship, which is the one with God. Well, long story short, we were at each other's. Everything he did got on my nerves. Everything I did got on his nerves. And it was like a attack. I was like, maybe we shouldn't be having a relationship conference because... oh my gosh, everything. He wanted to have this person speak. I wanted to have that person speak. And it's never been like that. Because, like I said, we have been doing this since 2013. And we had built a level of trust. Like, there were some things that weren't adding up or whatever, but because God has always provided, those things weren't bothering us. So I guess the enemy seemed to say, okay, I'm going to try something else. I'm going to go a different route. And so we just, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always.
And the thing about that is we invited a whole bunch of people there. We got the conference room at the Asbury Hotel, and we got all the sound and all that. And then what happened? About a handful of people showed up. Out of maybe 200 or 300 people that were supposed to show up.
Oh man!
And people calling in and say, man, I'm trying to make it, but I can't. I gotta work and all these other, excuses or whatever. But you know what? We kept going. It was a 3-day conference, but we kept going, man, day after day. We made the determination within ourselves that no matter who comes, we're still gonna be on time. We're gonna start on time, and we're gonna follow through
things are only meant for certain people. Sometimes it's not about the numbers. Sometimes it's about the substance, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the timing.
Yeah, and that's what's most important. You know, that people got what they needed, and that families are better because of it, and marriages are better, relationships are better because of it. And we also had singles attend, and they left, you know, with a different outlook. So it was a blessing, you know, still, but...
And even for us personally,
yeah.
You know, looking at it now, it was like, hey, we accomplished something great.
Mm-hmm.
And we worked together through all the circumstances, and we still are together at the end of the day.
All
You
right.
know, we forgave each other, and we asked for forgiveness from each other, but we completed the mission,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and we did it together.
there you go. That's always important. And as long as that last sentence, but we made it. That's always the key. You know.
Yeah.
All right.
Right.
So now, my next question is a little bit of a long-term question. So, where would you guys like to see your organizations and yourselves in 1 year, in 3 years, and in 10 years?
Oh, wow.
All right. You answer the 1 in 3 years.
Okay.
There.
It will be a spot. In 1 year, I would hope that we would be, and this may sound strange, still growing
Mm-hmm.
and maturing and learning different things. Just studying, you know, maybe not as busy, maybe not doing as much as we may be doing in 10 years, but just really taking that time to find out what makes a nonprofit work and how does it work best. I think that's where we are right now, because when we started out with a mission. We already had our mission, started with Push for Peace, and we went nonprofit because we were told by a lot of lenders we need you to be a 501c3 in order for us to donate or help you in various ways.
Mm-hmm.
So we did it as a means to get resources, you know, for that one particular project that we had. And then as time has gone on, we've grown because the need has grown. People call us and say, you know, this is going on, and we really want to do this, and we really want to do that. So we expanded to, like I said, we go into the schools, we work with families, we try to bring parts of the community together. That's our social life portion, where we try to engage different socioeconomic backgrounds, racial backgrounds, people from diverse cultures, diverse groups, bring them together. For example, police and citizens. So that's one of our branches. So since we've grown, we need to, you know, get that education and try to figure out how we can work more effectively in the community. So that's why I say I see us in a growing stage and a learning stage. In 3 years, I see us functioning, you know, in all of those areas in more than just Mobile, in more than one place. Being able to branch out more and having more people on board to where we can facilitate more services in many different places, in many different aspects, not only in Mobile, but all over Alabama and maybe even further.
Yeah, and then just hitting off on the 10, you know, I would like to see us build a team of people and kind of take our hands off of it so much, you know, and just get a group of people that we can trust to, you know, fulfill the vision. And also maybe getting the building and establishing ourselves in the building, you know, and holding our events from there. So long term, 10 years, that's where I like to see our nonprofit organization go.
All right. Well, Well, that's definitely a plan. I do wish you guys the best. After speaking with you guys today, I wholeheartedly believe in your vision. So I do wish you guys the best personally.
Yeah, we appreciate that, man. We really do. And we didn't talk about the music as much, but the nonprofit thing is Sparkle Production is really taking off, man, and it really branched off from what we do as music ministry and divine purpose. And as a matter of fact, we're going to be coming out with a new single coming up soon to be released at the Push for Peace event on October 26th. So y'all get ready for that as well.
All right. Okay. I look forward to it. All right.
And as a matter of fact, we invite you to come out to the Push for Peace, man, and really see what it's about.
I would love to.
If y'all are able to set up a table and let people know what you do, because that's one of the main things that we want to do is let the community know. A lot of people in the community say, "Oh, there's nothing going on in Alabama, in Mobile, or there's not any resources." And so this is a way where we can all learn about each other, and we can, in addition to pray and come together, we can network.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Right.
Absolutely.
And see where the strength is in the community.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I most definitely, we will talk more. And I would love, I'll get with my team and make sure we're there. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
No problem.
So that way people know who's who.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
And so that's what it's all about.
Yes, sir. We definitely have to use networking to its full advantages. And that brings me to my final question. And coincidentally, it's my favorite one because I dedicate it to that person who's out there listening to this interview and who's not quite sure if they should take that leap of faith or not. So I'm going to ask you guys, what words of encouragement would you have to that person who's listening, who's thinking about starting their own organization? What could you tell them?
Well, the first thing I would tell them is to follow your dreams. And if you have a dream, if you have a vision that you feel that God has given to you, or you have something that you've been thinking about that you should do with your life, then do it. Stop thinking about it and do it. You know, stop waiting on confirmation from somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and do it. Stop waiting for affirmation from somebody that you might look up to. And go ahead and do it. You know, sometimes I think we wait on other people to affirm us instead of going and believing in ourselves and following our own God-given vision that we have, you know. And we, a lot of times we procrastinate and we hesitate and we don't walk the plan through. Create a plan, fulfill it to your utmost ability, and do what you can, and everything else is going to fall in place. And don't stop when you get to obstacles. You're going to have opposition. You know, everything worth having is worth putting effort into.
Mm.
Everything worth having is worth fighting for. Everything worth having is worth being up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth researching. It's worth watching YouTube videos. It's worth reading about. It's worth getting an education about. So if you got something you really want to do, educate yourself and don't stop the grind. Yeah, that's what I would say. What about you?
I would say faith is so important.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I say that is because even with myself, I've had to learn over the years, and I'm still learning because I was always a person that struggled with feeling like I was good enough or I could do it, or just always doubting myself. And that stems from, you know, childhood, things that happen. But God has not given us that spirit. And faith is so important. Believing in yourself is so important. It seems like a simple thing, but it's really, really important, and it determines, you know, how far you can go. Because the difference between people that make it, the people that are in the music industry, they may not be the best. We all know people in our local schools and churches and neighborhoods that can sing just as good as the people on TV. But the difference is how far you're willing to go. When you listen to their stories, their behind-the-scenes stories, it's always a story about how they went the extra mile, or things that they sacrificed, or things that they went without.
Mm-hmm.
You have to believe. You have to have that faith that you know this is what you're called to do. This is what you want to do. And this is what you're going to do. And that's with athletes, whether it's music, whether it's business, whatever. It all starts with faith.
Mm-hmm.
Even for a non-believer that may not be a Christian, they still practice faith, a form of faith. They believe. They believe in themselves. So that's what I was saying.
Yeah, faith.
Yeah, that's the most important thing, is to believe. And use your faith. Just walk, just keep going, because God will not fail you. He won't forsake you. He won't leave you.
All right. Yeah, absolutely right. And I wanted to ask, for our listeners, if anyone wanted to get in contact with you guys, as far as with Sparkle or any upcoming events, is there any way they could get in contact with you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. You can look us up on Facebook under Divine Purpose. That's DIVINE Purpose, Divine Purpose. You can also...
let me add the facts, because there's more than one Divine Purpose.
Yeah.
But if you can't find us, if you don't see us when you go on there, you can always Divine Purpose /520 is our complete address.
And you can email us too at twodivinepurpose@gmail.com. That's twodivinepurpose@gmail.com.
If it's related to the nonprofit, it's Sparkle Productions INC@gmail.com.
All right.
And our website, we have a website where you can find information on both, www.itsdivinepurpose.com.
All right. And I'll make sure to include the links in the descriptions for this video for our listeners. If you want to get in contact with them, please do. They're very warm, very open, people. I really have enjoyed speaking with you guys today.
Same here, man. We appreciate you, man, and we appreciate the opportunity.
Awesome opportunity, and we thank you.
Hey,
We enjoyed meeting you in Baltimore as well. You guys do an awesome job.
Thank you. We really appreciate that. And with that, I'm going to close this one with just reiterating what you guys said. Walking by faith does have its rewards, regardless of what or whom you believe in. By all means, go forth. And if you believe in yourself and you have a dream, go for it. So thank you guys again. Again, I'm Sir. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. You too.